Rickshaw here. It's the 31st of October 2021. We are having a cold and breezy morning. Last night it was, look at all the wind blowing that around. Even the wires are making noise. Last night, we always keep a fan on for mosquitoes, and I had to actually close the windows upstairs. It got so cold. There's something I wanted to show you. There's these two houses. See how that roof is? There's no way you can really get in there to put anything unless you either rip the roof off from the outside or you rip the ceiling down from the inside. And there'll be a drop ceiling over there, and they just don't give you any room. This is one of the only ones that are going to be connected together. So they connected this in together. It's because I believe it's a brother and sister. They bought their homes right next to each other. But they're getting the work done. The guys are working today. That's why we had to go out yesterday through the traffic to get the stuff, before that little store closes. And I don't like to go out at 5 after these guys are done. They usually go home around 5, so they always stop over and get some stuff to munch on and like that. So, but it's even worse at that time of day. It's just crazy, especially with a lot of walkers in the street and stuff like that, and the electric bikes come out. I'm not a big one on these little electric bikes. Most of the folks will get in the middle of the lane and just won't let you around them. Even when there's a place they could pull off a little bit to the right, they just don't. And I can see why. Some reasons, because the sides of the roads have a little bit of ruts in them, or drop off, and the little tiny wheels on these electric buggies, they get on there, they'll tip. We actually did see one that tipped over, but I've been watching the news just on the phone, and I got some really good sites on the Telegram. I just seen Apple wants to take it off of all their phones, and you have to actually do something so they can't remove it. I'm not kidding, guys. It's one of the articles I read early this morning. I got up way before it was light and just walk around, read the news. But I had to get a jacket today. That's how chilly it is. But I see they're having a big push for this Java with children. So, guys, my goodness, that's something I can't submit to. I just can't. Even with the regular Javas from years past, there's first off, kids don't get it. Second thing is, even if the percentage is only 1 in a million, that's some terrible thing that could happen. Whether they be pushing up daisies or whatever. I can't, in all good conscience, agree to anything like that. I'm just not going to do it. Not in these little babies. We're investing our lives in these beautiful little ones. They're gifts from God. And I just can't see that some government could come and say, you have to do this. What is that? What kind of slaves are we? And I see around the world people are really waking up. Another thing I'm going to put at the end, it's a little long for my little tail end of the videos, but you might have to pause it to read or enlarge it, whatever. But they have a 5-year survey on deaths in Israel, and they're crunching the numbers now, and they're saying it's increased 62% since the Java got really pushed in. So I'll put that towards the end. There's something going down with this, guys. You don't got to believe me. You just open your eyes and take a look. It's really horrible what's going on. And the lies, the crap that's being told, I'm not really buying into this. I never did from the beginning of me having this channel. When this first come about, I wasn't buying it then, and I still not, even more so now. So, and I get the crazies on there. I just deleted some more horrible comments. One fella got on there and said I should be shot. I'm not kidding you guys. There's some loonies. I watched another thing. There's on this Telegram, I get some pretty good news channels. And this one lady was they had her talking about her little boy decided he wanted to be a girl when he was 3. Well, kids can't decide that stuff. They're pushed in, they're coerced into that. And they started showing this lady, and just looking at a picture of this lady, you could see she's definitely nuts. But she goes out and runs around in chicken suits, because she said the funniest thing is a chicken crossing the road, and she wears this chicken suit and dragon suits with her little kid, and she can't wait to start the blockers for testosterone or whatever, for puberty blockers. These kind of folks, and the dad wasn't going for it, and well, he's out, and the courts allow this. So this is a dystopian reality. This is just exactly insane. This woman should have this little one taken off of her immediately. This kid's going to be ruined, and the woman's obviously insane. It's crazy. But that was some lady in Canada. Another thing they're pushing in Canada is there was one article I looked at that they're going to stop ATMs. If you don't have your backs, they're going to stop any money that you can get in and out. I mean, it's here, guys. It's not coming. This stuff is here. They're trying little trial balloons in a little place, and they're just going to keep doing it in little spots and just make it bigger and bigger and bigger until you submit to this thing that's happening. And right now, the only place I can really look at a lot of this stuff is on Telegram. Is there some baloney stuff? Yeah, I believe so. There's some stuff. I keep getting this Sarah and all this. This has been going on for years. I'm not buying into any of that crap. And they pushed this. Now they're pushing this Trump coin, and they keep saying, "Oh, it's over. We're not selling any more of them now." And they've been saying that for 2 weeks. So it's all sales, and all these places just want your money. But it seems like anymore they want you pushing up daisies. They've made no bones about depopulation. They've said it in years past. I've seen it. So you just have to go look at the old news and see it. People have newspapers of Gates talking about it. They have that other big rich dude that goes around. These guys are just criminals, just absolute criminals. And I did see another. Somebody had it on the site. It's on the Telegram site, and it shows a lot of the stars and people that would be standing there, and so many of them have like a cast on their leg, on one of their ankles, like they all slipped and hurt their leg or something like that. But I'm starting to think, is that a tracking? Like what they do when they let somebody, instead of putting them in jail, they throw that tracking thing on them so they can monitor them. I'm starting to wonder if that's what's going on, because these casts look absolutely odd. I've seen people that broke their ankle, and they put it's a tight, small cast. They don't make them big and monstrous like that. These are more like a boot thing that goes on that they could strap on with Velcro, and they're just too big. So I don't know. I think those tracking collars should be a little bit bigger. Put them on the neck, so everybody can see it. But they're trying to hide this, so that's pretty crazy. I'll tell you what, it's actually warming up being in the sun. Almost ready to get this sweatshirt off. But it's a beautiful morning. We don't have to really go out anywhere today. The kids are, we don't really do all the candy and stuff for them like that, but we always do a little something. Have good stuff to eat. Probably get in the kitchen and do some cooking. We got our payday coming up soon. We'll do some shopping. We've been slowly over the months stocking up on food, like canned stuff and some dried goods and stuff for rice. Our stores are full. We're not seeing any stores around here empty. I did see a site on there, one of the regular sites that I'm subscribed to. Can't remember the name of this woman that does it, but she's showing stores that are empty and nobody in them and all this stuff. Well, that could be because of all the restrictions in that area, where people are just saying screw it, and they're going elsewhere. They're traveling away from there. and all this stuff. You know, I went to go into one store here. My wife wanted me to check it out, and I had my mask on, but and face shield. You know, you still have to have that here, and I had one on. But according to this guy at the door, it wasn't proper, so he wasn't letting me in. So I told Faye, okay, guess what? You can't go in there again. Never go to that store again. Just because some joker at the door decided, you know, my mask sat in the sun and got crinkly, that it wasn't acceptable. You know, they want you to keep buying more of this stuff. There's somebody, follow the money. Somebody's making money on all this crap. So now they're getting, you know, instead of this thing going away, they're getting worse. You know, it's just, it's insane. This is mass insanity that's going on right now. And who'd ever thunk it? You know, who'd have believed a couple years ago this was happening? I do remember watching Jesse Ventura years ago, interviewing some woman that just laid this all out. You know, and I was watching it going, you know, I always took him with a grain of salt. And this lady, well, I found that again, and that's from a long time ago when he had a show. I found that again and listened to it, and I was just like, you know, is that woman still alive? She was scared, you know, and I was, okay, sensationalism. I wasn't really buying it 100% back then, but I watched the show, and you go back and look at her interview with him, and then how she had to get out, and I'm like, wow. And there was a lot of interviews with people that talked about it. You know, they came right out and said it. And a lot of these people talking about this pedophiles and the Epstein Island guy and all this kind of stuff. And you start thinking, you know, it's crazy talk, but it's not now. It's coming out. A lot of this stuff is coming out. And it's just amazing. There is some cool stuff on Telegraph where you can go back to old interviews. There's one guy who has a site. I went ahead and joined his site, and he brings these up. And I remember watching these in the past, especially the Jesse Ventura. It's not something they just made up now, that's for sure. But guys, this is real. This is absolutely real, what's going on. And now with this big push for the children, that's got me freaked out. It doesn't seem, where you're going to run to. You know, where in the heck are you going to run to? I'd like to see a lot more places just, you know, put all this push for this stuff on the back burner. I think it's too late for a lot of people. You know, there's so many like young kids getting clots and heart attacks and stuff. That's not normal. Never will be. That's crazy stuff. But we're here. It's happening right now. So there you can see they're doing a lot of work. They're really doing big pushes, and you know, there's quite a few guys here that are going to work this morning. You know, Sunday, and they're working. They're away from their families, and they're just gonna keep on humping. They were working really late the other night when they were pouring the second floor on that place right there, and they worked way after 5, all in those buckets. So they're they're getting them done. Look at all that wind, my goodness! But the sky's clear. I mean, it's blowing the clouds the heck out of here. Look at that clear sky. But it was really whipping last night. I kept looking out the bedroom window to see if our little red gazebo type thing was going to blow away, but it seems to be held in there really good. So, you know, it's not having too much trouble, but it whips. It was kind of a night of sleep that I was just constantly popping up because new noises and stuff that I don't nearly really hear all the time. So I was kind of, seemed like about every 15 minutes I was cracking my eye on something, taking a look. Our outside light, I sleep with my head right by the window, and our outside light kept coming on. I have that little motion sensor one, but never saw any motion. So I don't know if something's up with it or just because it was windy, you know, and maybe it was moving it around a little bit. But that pops, for some reason, that pops me up immediately whenever that light pops on. If I'm laying there, I put the curtain back a little bit so I can look out the front window because that's right where my head is. And that light, for some reason, when the light pops on, I don't know if it's every time, but when it does get on, I pop up a lot when that thing comes on. And I know it just popped on because it's only on for so many seconds and then shuts off. So, but nothing going on. Kids found a dead snake yesterday down on where I was walking just a little bit ago. I didn't see it when I was walking just now, but don't know what kind it was. I asked Maddie, how did it die? Did it get run over or something? He didn't know. And when I went back, it was gone. Something probably came in there and ate it. I'm not sure. Or maybe it wasn't dead and it slithered away. And they're smart enough. They're staying away from them, not getting close to him. He said, yeah, they turned around and went the other way. The boys are starting to ride their bikes around here by themselves. And I tell them, look, you can't go out of the distance of the house. And they're listening pretty good on that. But I go for bike rides with them and stuff like that. But now they want to be outside all the time. So I'm just like, okay, just go ahead and go. Just stay close by. Keep the house in sight. And we got neighbors watching. The one neighbor down there that's been hollering at me to come talk to her, I found out why, because I told my wife I don't know what she wants. Well, she's asking my wife to borrow money. And just to me, that's nerve, that's gall to do something like that. She wanted to borrow $10,000 because they're in dire straits. Of course, they're always in dire straits here. And I say, hey, we're not a bank. You don't loan that lady money. She's not nice to me at all. She's got it to where her husband just doesn't even say hello anymore. I think he wants to, but I think she's laid down the law to him and he's not allowed to speak to me anymore. I'm serious. Some people get real funny. Morning. But that's nerve, and that's probably what she wanted. She wanted to stop to try to give me her story on loaning money, and I'm just not doing it anymore. I've done that in the past. When I first got here, nobody pays you back at all. When I first got here, we had one friend that every now and again she'd come and borrow some money, and always paid it back. And we had, when I first got here, I wasn't making a whole lot. And we borrowed money from her just for a short time and always paid her back. But that's the only one. Everybody else, I used to get people that would oh, don't tell your wife, but I need to, and they're never going to pay you back. I've had complete strangers, people I really didn't even know. I just happened to see them around work. One guy at work, he was actually a boss, and he came and asked me for like $40,000. I'm like, no, man, I'm not a bank. And he went around to all these people. He was the boss, and he borrowed money from them. And we seemed to hear that he got, hundreds of thousands. One girl said she loaned him 20. Somebody loaned him their whole paycheck because he was going to pay him back next week. It just needed this thing for real quick. Well, guess what? He had quit, and then he just disappeared, and everybody was out. They were out of their dough, and he scammed them. And I actually went into the office one time, and he was making copies of a thing in the office. So what happened was that saves in there, and he pulled it out. It seemed, just when I went in there, it seemed so odd because he was like trying to cover it up and grab it real quick, and it just seemed really odd to me. So I went ahead, and there's that little chip thing in there. I printed the stuff out, and he was being sued because he took a bunch of he was in on a company with some other guys, a pool hall or something, and he got out. They gave him the money to get out, and then he went in and took all the pool tables, kitchen stuff, all the bar equipment, took all that stuff, and they were going after him. Now, was he guilty of that? I don't know. This was just court papers that they were going after him. It was for a sizable amount. You look at Brunswick pool tables, and there were supposedly 6 of them in there. Those are a lot of money here, big money, because they're all slate. And when I looked up the model number of that pool table, it was a 1-piece slate. It wasn't the 3-piece one like I had. It was a big 1-piece, and that's an expensive table, guys. You're looking $8-10 grand. And of course, when you get into ones where it's going to be used in a bar or a pool hall, they're not the same ones you get at home. These things are like extra heavy duty. So, you know, you gotta watch doing that. You can't. Myself, I'm just at a point now where absolutely nobody, even close friends. You want to borrow money? Forget it. No, family members, none of that. Just not going to do it. You know, they see us as a cash machine, and I think things are going to get real tight. That thing up in Canada where they're going to start blocking, I can see them taking people that get any kind of government money, and if they don't follow the rules, they'll cut it off. I can see that coming. I worry about my pension sometimes. You know, what are they going to do there? What are they going to do at a bank? Maybe they're going to come up and say, hey, you got yours, show us your proof. And if they don't, they'll freeze the accounts. I had the IRS do that to me one time. Long time ago. When we won the cars, and we paid the sales tax and all that, but we didn't know that you had to file something every so many months when you get over a certain amount of money. One of their stupid rules, which is illegal anyway. There's no law that you have to pay that anywhere. They've got lawyers all over the world that can't find the law on that. Just their own internal documents saying you have to pay. Well, they froze everything. We couldn't go to the bank. We couldn't make house payment. We couldn't do nothing. And it was like that for a couple months until we got it squared away. And they fined us $1,500 back when, guys, it was tough. I had just taken out a loan to pay the taxes. You know, we didn't have it. This is quite a long time ago, and didn't want to lose them though. And that wound up. We won 2 cars, and it was just we actually lost on the whole deal. It was just a horrible thing, the way the government treated us, and you know, all the different fees and fines we got for not making payments on time because all our money was tied up. The only good thing that happened was my boss said, okay, you know, it's froze. I'll just pay you cash until you get over this hump. Because he had trouble with taxes also. You know, the government there, they don't care. They don't care if you starve to death. They say they're so benevolent and they want to help you, but yet they'll cut off every funds and you have kids to feed your children with. They'll cut your funds off until you straighten it out. That's it. They've got you by the balls, and they know it. And IRS is just an illegal thing, that's for sure. People say, well, you got to pay your taxes to fix the roads and all this. No, they don't. There's taxes on your tires. There's taxes on your gas. In the States, there's taxes on everything. My goodness, they tax the living crap out of everything. And they just keep taking more and more every year. I know when I was in California, I actually did a thing on my taxes. I made $149,800 one year. And what I got to keep in my pocket was 72 grand, guys. People say, no, that's baloney. The income tax isn't that high. No, I counted up every single tax there was, every receipt, every time I bought gas. No matter what I did, I saved up all those when I bought anything from the store, appliances or anything. They show you the tax. I wrote that down. The gas, how many cents per gallon they were taking. I was getting receipts for everything, and that's how much they took. And every country, if you look at the history of countries, every country when their tax rate started going over 50%, that countries failed. You know, they started declining, and that's, you know, they're just, everything's a tax. And then not only, I also call, if you get stopped by a cop, I call that a tax also. You know, if you get stopped by a policeman who's protecting and serving the crap out of you, you know, I start seeing this stuff in Australia, how these police are treating people. Even in the States, you start getting on some of these channels, and the police are going way over. You know, they're not. You know, they take this oath to the Constitution and they don't follow it, guys. They just don't. You can visually see that they don't. You know, and it's coming out more and more. And they've got this immunity to prosecution on a lot of this stuff. Like this cop right now. What's going to happen to that cop in Australia that threw the guy down and killed him? You know, and the guy wasn't attacking him or anything. He just told him to, you know, get down because he was going to, and the guy just was like ignoring him. Who even knows if that guy was deaf or not? We don't know. We don't, you know, don't know yet. I haven't seen any more about it. Of course, mainstream media is going to, they're going to bury that. They're going to show stories of the fake gay pride parades. They just found another big one that was all set up and faked. And they're going to keep showing stuff like that because that's their narrative. They don't want to show you the real news. They're not news people anymore, guys. they're just editorialists, commentators, and propagandists. That's all you got. They did this 80 some years ago on a mass scale. Now they're doing it on a worldwide scale, so you just got to watch out. You got to really watch out. I actually also checked on this thing right here. I had to go ahead and order a chain. It's a 428. It is, what's on there right now is 110. And when I put this thing on, instead of putting a couple links in another master link, the chain was a 130. I have the tool that I could take a link out if I need to, but they had a 120 and a 130. It was 220 pesos, so it's a DID chain. So I just went ahead and ordered that, and I'll get that on here pretty soon. I've been hemming and hawing it because I don't really have the thing on, and Faye and I haven't been going anywhere on it. I worry with how unstable the bike is with her on it. In this crazy, you've seen the traffic yesterday, all the crazy traffic we got to go in, and I don't want to take a chance on getting us both hurt at the same time. We got little ones we got to watch for, and me, I zip through the traffic pretty quick. You know, these things, these little bikes here, I don't care what you say when it comes to like that little car right there and this bike. 260 kilometers per hour, the bike's going to be out front. I know it. They just get up and go. I watched a video one time. A bunch of these guys were on their Suzuki 600s, and the guy was on a Yamaha R6, and they were racing an extremely short course. It wasn't a long course, you know, with long straightaways, because the guy would have definitely lost. But this dude raced him. Look it up on YouTube. He raced him on this super short, quick turn thing and won on a 125. He got the jump on him right away, and nobody could pass him. He was hitting these corners and just powering through these corners and just going like a bat out of hell, and he won. You know, all the times around the track they couldn't touch him. And there is something to these little bikes. Everybody thinks they're just little sissy bikes, and they laugh at them and stuff. You got to ride one. My one buddy teased me all the time. Yeah, you know, he's a big Harley guy, drives his Harley and had a couple sport bikes, and he teases me all the time about my little tiny, he calls it a girl's bike. But hey, it gets up and goes, guys. It gets up and beats feet. He's the same guy. I bought a 883 Sportster. I didn't tell anyone, but we put the 1500 or 1200 jugs on it right before I even took it home. Had all that done. It was cheaper than buying a 1200. When I went to buy the 883, it was $8,000. When I went to buy the Sportster 1200, it was $12,000, and for 1,500 pesos or $1,500, they did all the work and everything, because you had discounts when you first buy the bike, and they put the big jugs on that thing, and instead of a 6-speed, it had a 5-speed. But that thing got up and went. He always teased me that's a girl's bike, but I told him, I said, look, you must think I'm crazy. I went and bought the cheapest one they had when they came out with the fuel injection, because I didn't want anything to do with a Harley with a carb. And I'm not going to go spend, you know, big bucks on one of these big monstrous Harleys before I see if they're any good. Now, I have to honestly say, that bike, I used it as a work mule. I actually had a really nice rack built on the back for my benders. I even had an 1 1/4 bender. I had my benders all set up in a big rack. I did heavy duty springs on the back. Had a custom made metal rack to hold all my tools and my bucket and all that stuff. And I put 98,000 miles on that bike in 2 years, because I was traveling huge distances, and I was in California, and you have to have a bike. It's like here, you know, you just have to have one. And I was buzzing that thing. Couldn't leave my tools at work. You know, too much stuff got stolen on the jobs there, and it was from the workmen. They had a lot of Mexican workmen. One time I was went up on the 5th floor of this apartment complex we were working in, and I had to throw my belt on and help the guys, because we were getting a little bit behind. We were in the bind. We was way behind, and we was looking to make a deal. And I went ahead and brought my ladder, my 6-foot ladder, and I was going up doing some stuff, and one of the guys hollered at me and said, hey, I need you to come over and take a look at this. I didn't even step out of the apartment. I just stuck my head through the wall, because instead of going out in the hallway, they left openings in, because they were going to be pouring the lightweight concrete, and they had all the paper down and the mesh. So you had to go through each apartment, and I just got off the ladder and stuck my head through there, and some Mexican stucco guy ran in there and stole my brand new drill off the ladder. And when I turned around, I could see him going out, and of course none of them knew him. Oh, and then all of a sudden none of them speak English, but they stole my and I had just bought it. I had another one that just burned out. It was a DeWalt, so I went up and just bought a brand new one with some extra batteries, and they got it. That was the one thing. I never had anything stolen off a job when I worked in the Midwest, ever. I had stuff guys would borrow, and then when I quit loaning stuff, that ended. But when I was out in California, you couldn't leave anything. I had a guy one time, and don't know who it was, but I had put my tools in the bucket, and we were sitting in the hallway to eat because there was a real good breeze in the hall. And the dude came in, and I'm not kidding you, he sat on that bucket with all my tools in it and took a dump. Diarrhea crap all over. I got back in there. There was some insulation over it, and I went and pulled it off, and I was like, you know, just absolute disgusting pigs. You know, if he had to crap like that, why didn't he pull the tools out? But he didn't, you know, and that sort of messed up the whole day. But that's what you get out there. When I was in California, everybody teases me and say, oh, you know, moving to the Philippines, was it a big culture shock? No, absolutely not. My biggest culture shock ever was moving to California. It's crazy stuff. One thing about California, before I got my carry permit, I carried this big knife on my belt, which the knife laws in California are incredibly lenient. Very, very lenient. And I was carrying this knife, and I went into a sporting goods store, and I was getting some fishing stuff, and I came out the store, and some man and his wife, they were obviously not scared of me because they confronted me, but he came up and said, what do you got that knife for? Carrying, you know, it's a knife. You know, what if some gangbangers come after me, you know? And he's like, you shouldn't be allowed to carry that. I said, so obviously he knew I was allowed to carry it, but they got on their cell phone, called the police, and I got down the road, and they did a stop. It was like a felony stop on me, and then the cop tried to say it was concealed in the sheath, and I wasn't buying that, so I had asked for a supervisor, and one was already on the way. They came, and the guy just told him, hey, leave the guy alone. It's not that he's not breaking the law. Let him go. And that was cool. That guy let me go. But that was early when I got to California, because I got out of LA County and got into San Bernardino, where they issue the carry permits, and then I carried all the time, you know, out there, even when you go into LA, because once you have your permit, you can go anywhere with it. But I'm glad a cop never saw it, because anytime you get into a fracas with police, your chances of getting killed. You know, if you know, I always see these things on the YouTube where some woman tries to hire somebody to kill her husband. She gets caught. No, you want somebody dead, just call the police on them. There's a good chance they're going to get dead. Cops anymore are going wild. I keep watching these sites on there, and they're not. They can't be fake, because the people are filming it right there. You know, filming it. The one I saw that really got me was the dude that came back from Afghanistan, and he was told to get on the ground, and he was complying. Was outside in an alley, and the cop shot him twice. There was another one where the dude was in the hallway, and he was complying, and then one barking orders at him to get down, do this, do that, and the guy's trying to, you know, there's so many orders being barked at the guy. He's got a you know, M16 or AR-15 pointed at him. Could have been an M16, probably full automatic, and they shot and killed him. You know, so anytime somebody calls the cops on you, these guys are fraidy cats and scared of their own shadow, and that's the thing that really gets me about them. Here it doesn't seem so bad. I've met a lot of cops here. You can talk to them. They're good-natured guys. They don't seem to be. I only ever saw two that I thought they weren't cut out for their job. One guy was a real old one, ready to retire, and you know, he just was a surly guy, and the other one was just obviously corrupt. Even the other cops knew it, and they wound up putting him on a security guard detail. And from what I understand, he's still sitting there. At least last time we were back in that area, he was having to do night duty. Guy was a cop for 15, 16 years, and he's having to do night duty at a Petron station. so they knew he was trouble, so they put him away. So it's different here with the cops. And I know when I was in the Midwest, there was I knew a lot of cops, tons of them, and decent folk. But when you start getting into the cities, that's where you run into these people, and they say, oh, it's because the people are so bad. Well, they automatically assume everybody's no good, you know, and when they stop them and stuff. I watched one video where the cop got out of the car, and he had done a high-speed, like a pursuit, and this woman was in high-speed pursuit. She just didn't want to pull over on the side of the road there, so she just kept going with her flashers on, driving. This is, you can watch this on YouTube. So she's just driving along, so she gets to go to get off the exit when she battery time. But yeah, he runs up to the car and grabs this woman by the hair, still in the seatbelt. She's still wearing a seatbelt, and he's trying to drag her out of this car, and she's screaming. She's screaming for help, you know, from the person who's supposed to be helping her. And then his buddy shows up, and this is big burly guy, you know, looked like a UFC fighter. Instead of seeing what's going on, he just jumped in and starts trying to rip this woman out, and they had her. And actually, the video of them kicking her, you know, and this woman was just totally beat up. Now, there was a lawsuit filed. You know, they had to get the dash cam, but somebody else had also filmed it when they seen it. They were in a car behind, and they seen the person still going. They were even talking about it, going, oh, well, you know, why aren't they stopping? Well, the lady didn't want to stop on the freeway. I don't want to stop on a freeway. We got a flat here. Well, we thought we had a flat. We were on a bad road, and I even pulled off in what they call a lay-by here, and you're taking your life in your hands, you know, because these cars, you know, they drive super fast. You'll get most people here when they get on the highway, they're just doing this around the speed limit, which is 100 kilometers per hour and 80 in spots. But then you're going to get these, and it's BMW drivers. Seems in this country, when you get a BMW, it just changes you. It's crazy. They'll pass you at 160, 170. You know, I mean, they just fly through there. Or you get these people in these monstrous SUVs that, guys, those things don't handle. You get into an emergency situation at speeds on those vehicles. I don't care what kind of traction control and anti-tip stuff they got. They'll go over, or they'll hit somebody. And I've seen too many of them flip. So I don't see that woman did anything wrong. I know people, our one friend, her husband was a cop, and he knew there were a lot of bad ones, and he said anytime you go to get stopped in town here, she wouldn't drive on the highway. She was a very timid driver. Nice lady though. He told her, you just drive right to the police station, or go to a fire station, or go to some place where they got cameras and, you know, a lot of people. You don't pull over on a side street, because, you know, there's been how many times there was one incident on there where the woman, the cop pulled her over, and he had turned off his body cam, but she had a camera in her car, but it was no picture because it was facing out. So, but the audio was on, and the guy didn't catch it, and he raped her. He raped the woman, and then told her that was out of a ticket. Now that one got a huge settlement. She got $500,000 or something like that. But he's still working. He's still working as a cop. They canned him from that one, but he got a job somewhere else because they're all buddies, and they protect each other. I don't get it, but I'll go ahead and let you go. It's running kind of long, but lots of things on my mind of late. So you guys all take care, and this is Rickshaw out.